Hi, my name is Spencer, and today I'll be reacting to Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 2, Episode 10. This is the season finale, so once I'm done reacting and talking about the episode specifically, I will talk about the season as a whole and my thoughts, at least as it stands, as of recording this video. Last time on Star Trek Strange New Worlds, we had the musical episode, which was, I don't know, I thought it was fun. I know there was a little bit of, I don't know, there were some differing opinions online about it, and that's okay. I mean, you can't win them all, but I had fun, and it was definitely new territory for Star Trek, I guess, in some senses. And I mean, there have been like musical elements to other Star Trek shows, but this is the first time we've had a musical episode. I don't know. I can't see them doing this again with either this show or any other show, any other Star Trek show. I don't think it would work a second time if they did it the same way, and I can't think of any other way that would make any sense for it to work. So they did an okay job for the one time that it's probably going to happen in Star Trek, at least in my opinion. And I only say it was okay because there were definitely some songs that were better than others, some that were more well received than others. So it wasn't by any means a perfect episode, but it was at least enjoyable to watch. And then it's probably safe to assume that they were setting up for this episode. At the end of last episode, Batel is in Pike's quarters, and she tells him she's got a new mission, and it would make sense that that's the scene from the trailer for the season where she's on a planet and she's looking up while an alien vessel is approaching is going to be in this episode because we haven't seen it in any other episode, and her mission from last episode is what's leading into this. We also haven't gotten the scene from the trailer with Ortegas piloting a shuttle and they're like plummeting toward a planet, and Pike's like, "Are you sure you can do this?" And she's like, "Yeah, I did this a million times," or whatever. So we should be getting that scene. I think it would be foolish to believe that this is going to be an Ortegas episode, even though we've wanted one this whole season and they haven't really delivered, unfortunately. But with this being the final episode and a Gorn episode, which doesn't seem like she has any personal connection to the Gorn, I think it's safe to assume that this isn't going to be an Ortegas episode. They could surprise us. I doubt it. I think this is going to be more of a general thing. Maybe, I mean, it's not looking optimistic for Batel because, you know, she's got this priority one mission, and yeah, a lot of people are pointing out like, oh, she's not in future Star Trek, so it's not looking good. I'm not optimistic for her, and my guess as to the plot of this episode is that the Gorn are going to invade that planet. Either she's going to go missing or she's just going to straight up die. And that's going to motivate Pike to do, I don't know, save the day. So, if anything, this will probably be a Pike episode, but we'll see. But before I get into this episode, don't forget to like this video if you like it. And if you have anything to say about this episode or the previous episodes, please put it in the comments. Also, if you're not currently subscribed, but you like this kind of content, I would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing. It really helps me to stay motivated to get these videos out, and helps the channel to grow, so thank you. I don't believe I have anything else to say before getting into this episode, so I will go ahead and do that.
Captain's log, stardate 2344.2.
Yep, here we are.
Are you holding up?
I mean, not bursting into song every 10 minutes, so that's a minor victory.
Love the continuity.
Miss you.
Wow. Note the date and time. Is that so hard to say?
Well, we'll see how long this lasts. I mean, it was glitching, so not too surprising that it lost signal.
Cont bridge. You read?
Nope. What? What?
Ensign.
Well, that's ominous.
I know they've been massing on the border for some time.
Right now, whatever this is, it's technically happening.
I mean, I guess we'll probably see adult Gorn in this episode. Hopefully it's... I don't know. We'll see how different they are from the young Gorn that we've seen in this show.
Chris, I know you and Maria are close. I just want to make sure it's not going to color your judgment.
Oh, it's definitely going to cover his judgment. Or color his judgment.
It won't. I don't.
No, it will. It will. Is that the Cayuga? It must be. Yep. Damn. Well, we know Chapel's okay. Just because future, but still. That is, rough. Not looking good for the crew of the Cayuga.
They've received a message from the Gorn, sir.
Message?
What could they say?
I don't plan on leaving them behind.
You want to cross the line?
Which is why I'm not ordering any of you to join this mission. I'll take volunteers, but I'll go alone if I have to.
You're too close to this, Pike. You've got a personal connection.
How else will we determine how best to kill them?
I would like to aid in that study.
I'd like them dead as much, if not more, than the rest of you. But that's not enough. We don't know what we're walking into down there.
I don't know. It's kind of... Found it a little off-putting that Mbenga is interested in killing, knowing his history.
What's this stuff here?
Debris from the Cayuga.
I mean, they're not shooting at that, because they already did.
True. Just make it look like you're debris.
You want me to pilot the shuttle?
Come on, Erica.
She finally gets to go on an away mission.
A landing party?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Why have I been doing that?
She has a red shirt, so... might be a little iffy for you.
Don't worry. I did this 100 times during the war.
Any minute now. Well,
Spock, I don't think anyone's alive over there.
Spectrometric analysis suggests there are still pockets of oxygen on board. It is possible someone could have...
I mean, it's worth trying, at least.
Sickbay is gone.
Well, I mean, they have no reason to... They do have reason to fear, is what I'm trying to say. We know that Chapel will make it, but still.
So I suggest a Gorn youngling.
Copy. Take cover.
Those ones are pretty dangerous, the younglings. Yep, that's pretty much what we've seen already, in terms of what the Gorn look like.
Lights off.
It doesn't feel like that would be enough to block the door, but okay. Maybe it's enough to make them not suspicious. I don't know, for them to walk by. Oof. Eating your own I guess when you're desperate and you're young and feral.
Find some way to reach them, or...
Ever the optimist.
Well, that's what Starfleet is.
Sam, you reading anything?
Yeah, I've been picking up an anomalous signal coming from down the street.
Gorn?
No, human.
Well, it's not a bad sign. Maybe Batel will become pregnant with Gorn babies. Oof. That is rough. Is that them detecting the signal? Yeah. Okay. I thought maybe I was like, is something gonna blow up?
The signal's been coming from this.
Oh, it's a trap for them. Gotcha. For the Gorn, so they can...
You're not Gorn.
Obviously.
You shouldn't have walked into my Gorn trap then.
We detected humans in here. We were trying to rescue them.
Yeah, the humans you detected is that wee box right there.
Is this supposed to be Scotty? I mean, I'm making an assumption because of his accent, but still.
What are my manners? Montgomery Scott.
Yeah.
In junior grade.
Captain Pike of the USS Enterprise. This is Lieutenant Noonien Singh.
I like this casting. I think he looks good. I think it's a good Scotty. I feel like some people will not like him because there's always some people.
Do you know if any of the crew from Cayuga made it?
Nice.
You found us.
Yep. She's alive for now. Still not super optimistic about the rest of the episode, but for her, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm here. And Enterprise is in orbit. We can get you out of here.
Transporters don't work.
Is she gonna die and that's gonna make him question whether to reason with the Gorn? We'll see.
He said he ran from the Gorn in a shuttle.
Ah, he was in the shuttle that crashed. Gotcha.
Sunspots.
You showed us how they communicate ship to ship through light. What if they evolved with some deep ingrained sensitivity to it?
If that's true, it's critical intel. They react instinctively.
Not totally unfounded.
Could you build another device like the one you made?
Well, not unless you have a Hubble K7C stellar assessment array I can cannibalize.
Maybe on the shuttle that you were just on? Maybe not, though. Didn't seem like you recognized what he said.
So all we have to do is find a way to get a piece of debris large enough to survive re-entry to crash into that structure.
The saucer section of the Cayuga.
Mm-hmm. My goodness.
Well, hopefully no one's left.
By the time the Gorn realized what's happened, it'll be too late.
We can beam our people.
Well, hopefully. That is the best case scenario.
Logic dictates we do not know Chapel's or Batel's fate. And until we do, the best chance we have to save them is if Enterprise takes out the Gorn's interference field. Further,
Sure.
I am the only member of the crew who can pull this off. If it is to succeed, it must be me.
Well, sound logic to me.
I didn't mean to eavesdrop. Was it my fault? You decided to have a secret conversation right in front of me.
Well, two of these characters have plot armor. One of them does not. I don't know. I'm expecting something to happen to Batel at some point. Something more than being stranded on this planet. Look at all these red shirts. And there's Chapel.
Power low. Life support failing.
What can you do?
No. Yeah, we can work with that.
Find a way to communicate to someone. I mean, might be hard though with comms down or blocked. It's your people. They don't know you're there though. Otherwise they would have gotten you by now. Okay, yeah. Light signal. Ah, okay. I do remember some scenes with from the trailer with Spock and Chapel in EV suits. So this is probably where that's coming from here. You would think there would be at least one other person besides Chapel that survived that. A little hard to believe that she's the only one. Bang on the window!
Spock!
Well, find an EV suit. Well, I mean, I'm sure her options are limited for where she can go on the ship. Oh, well. That's convenient. I was gonna say, dang, that's still burning? But like, it's sci-fi. I can't I can't judge it too much. It's probably like a plasma fire type of thing, you know? It just keeps burning and burning. Uh-oh. Where's your phase? Oh, he gave the phaser to Scotty.
Please input command code.
Spock?
Is it Spock or is it someone else?
Input command code.
Oh, maybe it's an adult Gorn. Well, it seems to be more intelligent than a youngling if it's inputting command codes. You didn't find... Oh, interesting. Huh. Well, you didn't find a phaser with the EV suit, you know? Or at least adjacent.
Command code invalid.
They are cold-blooded, so if you go to somewhere cold, then it might help. But he's also got a spacesuit on, so... Some Predator-type stuff here. Not that I've seen Predator, but still. Interesting that it didn't attack.
Let's not waste time questioning it. Mr. Scott?
Does she know something? It seems like she knows something that Pike doesn't. He's like, do I even know you? Ooh, well, watch out. What you gonna do? Is Chapel gonna save the day? Here she is. Distracted him. Must be very disorienting to be in a low gravity situation or a no gravity situation like this. I mean, that Gorn is looking pretty badass. Like with the metal suit. I don't know, the slowness of the low gravity fighting with the Gorn just makes me think of like the slowness of like just the fighting in general from the original series, like with Kirk fighting the Gorn. Just like I don't know, the choreography in that I feel was a lot slower, if that makes any sense. Or deliberate, maybe that's a better word.
Trust me with the truth.
Oh, is she pregnant with the... Yeah.
The eggs mature in about a day and a half.
Yeah, you know, I'm not surprised. Better get out of there. Well, once the thing is destroyed, you guys will be able to be beamed back to the Enterprise.
And you and the rest of the survivors beamed Enterprise.
There's got to be a way to save you.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll find a way. Maybe not sure, but they can probably find a way. And then it'll be like, oh, why couldn't they do this for Hemmer?
I don't mean to interrupt, but you both better grab onto something.
Oh, yeah.
3 to beam up directly to sickbay. We'll need a med team. And have Pelia meet us there, too.
Acknowledged.
Is Pelia gonna be able to figure something out to help Batel?
Christine?
Well, that's when you ask any of the colonists, hey, have any of you been infected? Or you should ask them before that. Maybe isolation as well. Yeah.
If there's one sign we can't stop it, I need you to take me out.
I mean, what other option would you have at that point?
Professor.
You two know each other?
One of my best students, who sadly received some of my worst grades.
Well, I'll leave you to it.
Oh, this is fun.
Captain, the transporter is not currently picking up anyone on the surface.
What?
There has been no evacuation of any kind. We have been scanning since you first called. We read no human life.
Oh. Yeah, they faked us out on that one. It tricked me. But I could tell that the transporter effect looked a little different.
By the Gorn.
Yeah, that sucks. Oof. No bueno. Oof. They don't seem to be running very fast.
Admiral April's ordering our immediate withdrawal. Sir, do I respond?
But the Gorn still have our people.
Well, what are you gonna do? To be continued. Oof. Yeah, I could tell it was getting close to the end of the episode. I mean, I don't know. I liked the episode. The pacing felt, I don't know. It felt like a classic Star Trek episode to me. The pacing. I was partially correct about Batel. I was correct in that she was gonna go missing, and then Pike was going to be motivated to go save her. And I also predicted that she would get impregnated by the Gorn. I wasn't expecting to get to see Scotty. I know that that's probably going to be a controversial thing. I know that some people are of the opinion that I don't want to see the original series characters rehashed and like that sort of thing. And I don't know. I think it's a good casting choice, at least. I mean, it seems as though this is setting up for him to join the Enterprise crew as a lieutenant or whatever rank he is. I think they said lieutenant, but I could be wrong. But it seems like they're setting up for him to be working with Pelia on the Enterprise. I don't know. I think that would make for some fun storytelling. I don't know. I always find it hard to be super engaged in the when there's a character that we know is going to survive because of plot armor, because of future Trek shows that take place in the future. So, I don't know. Didn't really feel like there were any stakes in whether Chapel was going to make it. That being said, I'm always curious as to how they make it through. And I don't know. I didn't hate that part of the episode. It was just like, oh, okay. I mean, we know she's gonna survive. Yeah, this definitely wasn't an Ortegas episode, but I did like the little moments that we got with her in the episode. Her piloting the shuttle, her talking with Mbenga on the planet, and now she and Mbenga are gone until next season, or they've been captured, I guess. I don't know. I made the joke earlier with her going on an away mission and her being like, oh, maybe why did I want this? I think I made a redshirt joke around then, and I was thinking at the time, in that moment, I was thinking like, oh well, I mean, Uhura has a red shirt and she's made it back, but she has plot armor. Ortegas doesn't. So Ortegas could die at some point in the series. I wouldn't love that if that were the case. Hopefully, especially if we don't really get to know her as more than a supporting character. So hopefully we will get to know her, and hopefully she doesn't die, because that would suck. Spock and Chapel, I don't know. They seem, I mean, they haven't really talked things out yet, but I don't know. Chapel was so casual with him, like, hey, we'll talk about this later. Like, it's cool. And I don't know. It gave me the vibe like that maybe they could continue the relationship in the show, but I don't know. It doesn't make sense with, I guess, what we know. If she's going to be with Corby, if she's going to eventually get engaged to Corby, then she and Spock have to end. So I don't know. I expect them to come to maybe like more of a mutual agreement between each other to end things, and that'll give her the freedom to have her story with Corby and for him to suppress his human side more. But yeah, I thought the story was well paced in this episode, although it was a part one. So it's a little frustrating that we have to wait for part two. But I'm glad they didn't rush the story in order to get it all in one episode. For the story that was told, it felt cohesive and paced well enough that it left me wanting more, but it didn't feel like I was really missing out because of the pacing, if that makes any sense. I think at this point it would be wise for April to just assume that if anyone's in charge of the Enterprise, and you tell them not to do something, they're probably still going to do it. That's just how it is, especially when it has something to do with someone they have a personal connection to. Like in the first episode of the season, there was La'an sent a message and Spock was like, okay, I'm just going to steal the ship and take care of this, even though I was told not to. And then here, obviously, Pike having feelings for Batel. I'm recording this a little bit later, but I did want to bring up and mention that I really appreciate how they did the Gorn fight scene. I really liked the musical callback to the original series. I wasn't quite sure about whether I was imagining the music sounding familiar or if that was like an actual callback. But I did a little bit of research after the after the reaction, so I'm like 99% sure that the music that they played, especially during the scene where Spock and Chapel are fighting the Gorn adult in the Cayuga Bridge, I'm pretty sure that music was like a new version of like the music that was playing during Kirk's fight with the Gorn in the original series. And I rewatched that scene a little bit of Kirk fighting the Gorn, and I don't know, because in the reaction I said that the fighting, like the slow-mo fighting because of the low gravity, just reminds me of the original series fighting because it's like so slow. But yeah, I was rewatching the scene, and like the slowness of the movements is honestly hilarious in the original series. Like the Gorn is just like trying to hit Kirk, and he's just like totally easily dodging it, just like. And it's just so funny that I made that connection without actually having seen the scene in years. I don't know. I just thought it was a lot of fun, and I also would like to mention that I appreciate the practicality of the Gorn, like what they've done to make them realistic, I guess, in a way. I prefer practical effects over CGI, I guess. When it comes to these things, it helps. I think it really helps like the actors know what they're up against. And I really think Strange New Worlds has done a great job with that. I don't know if I mentioned this in my original recording, but one thing I like about this season is that they didn't rely too heavily on the Gorn. I thought maybe they would because they mentioned it in the first episode, and so I was expecting there to be like more throughout the season. I'm glad they didn't, because it helped this episode to really stand out on its own and not be, I don't know, it made it so that it didn't feel like there was like this threat the whole season, if that makes any sense. So I appreciate that if they made any references to the Gorn, and I'm pretty sure they made at least one. I believe in Lost in Translation, Pike mentions that they're near something to do with the Gorn. So there was at least one reference to the Gorn throughout the season besides the first episode. So I don't know. I'm glad that they didn't keep pushing the Gorn, and I think it really made this episode better. But yeah, I think those are all my thoughts about this episode specifically. If I can think of anything else, I will mention and I'll bring it up. But overall, I thought this was a good episode. I don't mind that they're doing a part 2 and that it's a to be continued, because I think that's how it was for old Trek shows as well. So it's kind of nice that they're doing that with this show, or at least, I don't know if it's nice, but it's at least calling back to things that we've seen. I mean, I guess last season was also ended kind of on a cliffhanger, but like it was definitely not as urgent as this, and obviously not urgent enough for them to have episode 1 of this season to be a direct continuation from that. As for this season as a whole, I enjoyed it. I know that not everyone will agree with me with that. It wasn't perfect by any means, but I thought it was an enjoyable season. I've enjoyed it more, I think, than season 1. So there's that. I mean, I do. There are complaints I have about the show structure, with it only being 10 episodes rather than like a 20 episode season. This has been discussed in the comments a couple times, I think, at least. And yeah, I think they're really doing a disservice to this show by making it only 10 episodes per season, because there are so many other stories that could be told, and it's forcing them to give into doing a bunch of gimmick episodes because they only have a limited amount. So let's only do the really fun ones, you know, which isn't to say that other episodes wouldn't be fun, but like they're probably under the impression that most fans of the show will enjoy a more gimmicky episode than something that's a little more straightforward, I guess. Personally, I don't really have any issue with any of the stories that they told this season in terms of like whether it's good Trek or bad Trek, you know. But I can agree that we are missing out on stories that could have been told, stories that more emulate classic Trek, stories that actually explore strange new worlds rather than doing a bunch of episodes that only take place on the ship or visiting moons of worlds that we've already been to or planets that we've already been to, species that we've already seen. I think they're really missing out on opportunities to give us unique stories about aliens and planets that we aren't really familiar with. I want to say they did better with that in season 1, but it wouldn't surprise me if the ratings for the fun episodes, like when Spock and T'Pring switch bodies, or Katras, I guess, same difference. I'm pretty sure that was a really popular episode last season, so they probably were like, oh, people like that, so let's do let's do more stuff like that, you know. So this season we got Human Spock, we got Lower Decks, and we got a musical episode, which were all enjoyable episodes in my opinion, but I don't know, I feel like they didn't have to do that much in one season in terms of like what you would consider like a fun episode. So I wish that TV wasn't what it is. I don't know. Ever since streaming services have become a thing and streaming platforms have been producing their own shows rather than it being on like a television station, they've gotten away from, I don't know, it doesn't really apply to this show, but they have gotten away from episodic storytelling, and we don't get as many stories because of it. It's just a shame that we're limited by the standards of TV today when we could be getting much more meaningful and more thought out seasons of a show rather than, I wouldn't say filling a quota, but like it's really more stuffing the stories they want to see in a limited amount of episodes. I mean, they're not bad episodes by any means, or I don't know, maybe by your means, if that's what your opinion is, but still, I don't know. This season could have, I don't know. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that there's a lot of wasted potential in streaming shows nowadays, and Strange New Worlds is not totally exempt from those consequences, I guess. I don't know if I'm putting together cohesive sentences here. One of my biggest complaints about the season is that we did not get a proper Ortegas episode. I don't care if they're like, oh, but we gave you the one where where they were losing their memories and she was like, I'm the pilot. Like, but that's not enough. And then we did get a little bit of her and her trauma from the Klingon War, but like we didn't actually get any of her backstory. It was just like, oh yeah, she has trauma. Oh yeah, she's the pilot. What? Like, how are we supposed to connect with this character if you don't give us something more compelling? I don't know. Besides Ortegas, though, I think they did a good job with spreading out whose stories to tell. I enjoyed the Spock and Chapel episode, and then I like how we were able to get continuation of that, but it wasn't solely focused on them for the following episodes. We got a fair amount of Mbenga, and we got the one episode, which was a heavy episode, but it was good, and it was nice to, I don't know, to get to know him and understand his character a bit better. Speaking of which, I don't know, I thought it was odd in this episode where he, when they were discussing like, oh yeah, how are we going to figure out how to kill the Gorn? And he was like, yeah, I'd like to figure that out too. And like that just felt off, because it was like, didn't you have a whole thing about not wanting to take life, but be a doctor, you know? Like not wanting to be tactical. There's the whole thing at the beginning of the season, and then we got his backstory where he also didn't want to be tactical, but had to because of war. I don't know, it felt odd, it being so outright, I guess. I liked La'an's stories this season, her going back in time and having these experiences that she can't talk about, and then dealing with the inner conflict of that with Kirk coming aboard. And I like how that resolved with her, and hopefully she'll, I mean, we may never hear about it again, but hopefully she'll continue to heal and get past it. I liked the bit of a her that we got in the season. Her episode specifically, Lost in Translation, I believe that's what it was called. I thought that was a good episode, and just generally like getting to know her and a little bit more about like her backstory with her family dying in a shuttle accident, and her connecting with the crew of the Enterprise. And it was nice to see her in action. I enjoyed her and Mariner's interactions in the Lower Decks episode. I don't know, I feel like this season was kind of light on Pike. Like we did, like episode 2, we got him fighting for Una, trying to make sure that she gets a fair deal type of thing. And then in this episode, we got him acting out emotionally in order to save his girlfriend. I mean, I guess we got a little bit in the Lower Decks episode where he acknowledged like his knowledge of his future, his fate. So that was nice. But I don't think, I mean, none of these really felt like a Pike-centered episode, which I guess is okay. It's just like, it's not necessarily a complaint, it's more of an observation that like we didn't really get any strong Pike episodes that I can think of. And you may disagree, you may think that you may have a different point of view in that maybe you see an episode as a Pike episode when I didn't. If so, let me know in the comments. I am happy to be proved wrong. I'm happy to see other points of view. Feels like we got a good amount of Sam Kirk in the season. I don't know, I'm glad that he's a part of the crew and somewhat significant. Besides Una's trial, I don't think we got any really strong Una episodes, which again, not necessarily a complaint, more of an observation. But I think she's been a good more of a supporting character this season. Again, I think it's more due to the fact that we're limited by the number of episodes that we get. I feel like we could have gotten maybe a more Pike-focused episode, or a more Una-focused episode, or maybe even other bridge crew like Mitchell. I feel like we could get to know her better, and I think it would make for some good storytelling. But with the limited number of episodes in the season, it's like, we don't really have time for that, unfortunately. So, but yeah, this was a good season. I enjoyed it. That's just my opinion, though. You don't have to agree with me. And I'm sure that there are a few of you who disagree with me. So that's okay. And these are just my immediate thoughts about the season. My feelings can change between now and next season. And usually that happens. Usually my opinion changes if I see some other point of views online and I can understand where they're coming from, or like they make valid points. It's like, oh yeah, that I can see why you would say that. And so my opinion is likely to fluctuate between now and the next season. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode and the season. I don't know, were you expecting the cliffhanger? I wasn't really expecting it, but then when it was getting close to the end, I could feel that the episode was coming to a close. I was like, this is going to end on a cliffhanger. Let me know what you guys thought about that, and let me know what you guys think is going to happen to conclude this story. And what did you think of Scotty? Do you think that it was a good choice to bring him in, or I guess they had to at some point, but still. And what did you think of the season? Did you like it better than last season? If so, what are your reasons? If not, what are your reasons the other way around, I guess? Let me know. I'm curious. And I'm happy to see your point of views. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say for this video. If I think of anything between now and editing, then I can obviously add stuff, but I think that's all. Those are all my immediate thoughts about the episode and the season. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your support, especially everyone who's joined the channel this season. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys will stick around. I do plan on reacting to other Trek shows. Lower Decks is coming out soon. Prodigy will hopefully come out soon. That's still a bit up in the air, but I'm looking forward to those shows and seeing what the future of Star Trek holds, I guess. And hopefully I will see you guys then.